Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 204. I am Brendan. UFC Fight Night, Thompson versus Holland, prelims. All right, we're going to cover the prelims here if you're looking for the main card, the main event. That's in the last video. I had the ONE FC event in the video before that. This is going to cover Angela Hill, Emily Ducote, Clay Guida, Scotty Hot Sauce Holtzman, Michael Johnson versus Marc Diakiese, and the rest of the prelims. We're going to cover that here. We're going to break down each fight. If you're looking for a specific breakdown, it's in the description down below, so you can click on those. If you like MMA, you like podcasts, you like fight breakdowns, I do 2 or 3 videos every single week covering the UFC, Bellator, PFL, all the good stuff. Cover all that stuff here. Subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out. Let's get started. I know. This is a little later than normal. My day yesterday got away from me. Obviously, I recorded immediately after the main event, the main card, and I didn't feel like staying up for another 40 minutes to cover the prelims. But I have all the notes. I covered all of it. I watched them all live, or relatively live. I caught up here and there when I had to. But let's cover Angela Hill versus Emily Ducote. Angela Hill looked amazing in this fight. All right, let's just say that. She gets a decision here. All 3 judges' scorecards, 30-27. Absolutely. Halfway through the first round, Hill was the one landing more strikes. She's just more active, constantly throwing offense out there. Hill was doing a beautiful job going low with the kicks, extending her combos. She was mixing everything up really well. Her head body, head and body split 52% to 40%, relatively even. Very good stuff. She started using the clinch later in the fight, but look at the output in here. 104 strikes. And yes, she was only landing at a 48% rate, but 104 significant strikes thrown in the first round. All right, she landed 50 to Emily's 21. This last bar here is deceiving if you can't make out the numbers if you're watching this on your phone. We'll get to that when we get there. She was doing a beautiful job. Like I said, the body, going to the body, going to the head, mixing everything up really well, going to the legs when she could. She's just excellent distance management. It seems like Ducote really didn't figure out what she was going to do in there. And yeah, she landed 21 strikes, but the amount of offense coming from Hill was unreal. Second round, Hill was throwing a ton. She just kept going. Dude, her output got higher in the second and third round. She was using the jab really well, the low kick, following up with hooks, using elbows. She got the clinch, and she was using the knees in the clinch. You can see here, 23 of 24 strikes landed in the clinch. Beautiful stuff. It really looks like Ducote just didn't know what to do. She looked lost out there. This one, 67-16. I wouldn't have called that a 10-8 round. None of the judges did, but it was really one-way traffic. 67 of 120 strikes for Angela Hill. Last round, Hill was faking takedowns and landing right hand, so she would just reach down and make her react. Why won't this focus? There we go. So she'd reach down like she's going for a takedown and then come up top with the hook. It's just total domination. Like I said, if you look at these bars, it's like, oh, that was pretty close. No, the percentage was close. It's very deceiving. 65-34 in favor of Hill. 65 of 121 strikes landed in that round. Angela Hill, what can you say, man? It's unfortunate that she's kind of been this streaky fighter. And she's ranked number 12. I have her highlighted. Why didn't I? She's ranked number 12. And if you look at her record, like a lot of these losses, so this loss to Virna Janjiroba, that was a legitimate loss. This one to Amanda Lemos, it was close. I don't remember exactly how I scored that one. I'd have to go back. The Tisha Torres one, that was a legitimate loss. Ashley Yoder, that was a win. Michelle Watterson, close fight. I think I scored that one for Hill. Claudia Gadea, I definitely scored that for Hill. So she should have been on a 6-fight win streak coming off the Yoder fight into Tisha Torres. And, she did legitimately lose that one, but then Amanda Lemos. The point is, and she beat Lupi Godinez in their last fight. It's she gets a lot of decisions. She doesn't get a lot of finishes. I understand that. There's her improvement's been great. I think she's awesome. I think she's a really good fighter. I like watching her fight, even though she's more of a point style fighter. I think her skill level in striking, it's interesting to watch. She's in fun fights. I don't know what else to say. I hope. I used to think she had what it took to eventually become champion, like if she kept building on her, but I think she might have hit her ceiling. It's close. It's close. Her ceiling is close. I feel it's. Oh, man, how do I put this? I feel like she got in the game just a little bit too late. Obviously, not taking up even. I think she was doing like cardio kickboxing or some shit when she was 20 or something like that. And that's how she got into Muay Thai. And then she didn't get into MMA until she was in her mid-20s. She didn't practice MMA until after her like third or fourth fight in the UFC. So based off of her level of experience and her age and when she got into all this stuff, it's extremely impressive what she's been able to accomplish. But I think based off of the large amount of data that we have, we can kind of see that this is her ceiling. Right? It's not to her detriment. It's just, it is what it is. All right. Clay Guida, Scotty, Hot Sauce Holtzman. Awesome. I actually don't know how they scored this for Scott Holtzman. I'd have to go back. No, I don't. I hold on, let me look. So technically, this was a split decision, but Clay Guida did get the win here. I don't want to go too much into his Scott Holtzman. This was his last fight. He did retire. They didn't interview either of these guys after the fight. One of those things where they don't have a choice. The production team is telling them what they can and can't do. Clay Guida is not interested in retiring. He's talked about wanting to fight for like a few more years here. And because of that, I'm not going to break down his career. I'm not going to go over fight by fight like I would when a fighter ends. We'll talk a little bit about Holtzman. His career isn't that. It's impressive that he made it to the UFC and that he was kind of a mainstay for a while. But as far as big wins in the moment, I wouldn't put him up there. Clay Guida. Scott was moving forward, staying in his face as much as he could, using kicks to the legs. Holtzman really he was looking to land big power punches. Guida was coming up short with his hooks. His best work was actually with his low kicks. Scott was landing more damage through the first round. I had a 10-9. Guida did land a great right hand at the end of the round. And I said, like, that could be him. That could be there for him as he goes forward. What's weird is he outstruck him here in the first round, 23-18. I didn't see that. I thought Holtzman outstruck him. I definitely had the damage in favor of Holtzman. I did. I had the damage in favor of him. It's just because he landed less doesn't mean he didn't do more damage. I felt like he landed the bigger shots. Second round here, Guida was mixing in his wrestling really well. He was starting the round. He started the round off mixing in his wrestling with his striking. He would land this right hand and then go for takedowns, or he would attempt a takedown and to land the right hand and then land the right hand. He gets a takedown, they get right back up, and then he gets the body lock and a lift and a big slam. So a slam does count as damage. That's not just my opinion. It is a fact. It is objective. Scott actually grabbed the fence 3 or 4 times and still got taken down. Like I said in the last video, this was the night of fence grabs. Everybody got warned multiple times when it happened in fights. They got warned multiple times, and nobody got points taken. He grabbed the fence 3 or 4 times, like I said. And Guida did enough damage in this round, and he had way more control. So if you look at the control time, he had 3 minutes of control in this round. He did land a couple strikes on the ground. Or no, he didn't. Okay, whatever. I thought he might have landed something. I guess he didn't. He did get outstruck in this round, 22-17. But with that big slam of a takedown and the control time, if you leveled out the damage, which I would argue is fine, but I actually had Guida up in the damage department with the time on top and the control, that goes to Guida. Last round here. Scott was landing really well, finding the chin, but he just didn't have the pop in this last round that he had in the first round. He just looks kind of tired. Scott grabbed the fence again, and then Guida got another lift and a slam regardless. Scott got back up, but Clay just kept working and got him back down again. So in this round, and then Scott grabbed the fence again. So I wrote down, I was like, he better lose this fight. I don't care. Because he deserved at least 1 point deduction, if not 2. So in this last round, I gave it to Guida regardless. Okay, I gave it to him regardless. The striking number is 26-25 in favor of Guida. Plus he had the slam. Plus he had another takedown. And on top of that, he had 2 minutes and 40 seconds of control time. Yes, he didn't land a ton of damage on the ground, but that's not important when you landed more, if not the same amount of damage on the feet. So, if Holtzman had gotten this win, I understand you can't be mad at a judge for it's not his job to take away points based off of fence grabs, right? That's the referee's job. But at some point, somebody's got to be held accountable because this is ridiculous. The dude prevented a takedown multiple times with it. He grabbed it to adjust. Like it changes the position regardless of what you're doing, and it's unacceptable. I'm glad that he didn't get the win, not because I don't like the guy, just because if he had gotten the win, it's another case for just keep cheating. In fact, I still, even though he lost, sorry, my voice is kind of gone. One of my friends had a powerlifting meet. He lifted some ungodly weight yesterday, and there was a lot of screaming, and every so often you might hear my voice crack. I am sorry about that. But if you're in a fight in the UFC or any other organization for that matter, I would say if my honest advice to you, if you want to win, right, which means you will make more money, you're not going to make a lot of fans doing that stuff. Grab the fence, kick people in the nuts, and eye poke. Just be willy-nilly with all this stuff because you're not going to be penalized for it. Just go for it, man. Just go for it. Grab gloves. I mean, you'll win a title. You could win a title like that, right? You can get a belt because of that. I mean, it's happened at least once. The point is, we're essentially, by not penalizing these people, we're rewarding them for cheating by letting them have the win, letting them have the position. That's a reward for cheating. It's unacceptable. We already allow sanctioned cheating with the weight misses. Let's not get this far, please. Please. All right. Michael Johnson taking on Marc Diakiese. You could say that Marc Diakiese, his last 2 wins with the whatchamacallit, the wrestling, maybe he turned a corner and he's kind of changed up his fighting style. His last 2 wins, I remember them being Damir Hadzovic and Vyacheslav Borsov. That's Slava Claus. I think that's who that is. I mean, he's got good wins, man. No, he's very good. It's just I think there comes a time where he's still young too, so maybe he won't go to dour or doom and gloom on that one. Yeah, well, I'll leave that alone. I think he still has the skills and he has the ability to take the next step and become not only a ranked fighter but challenge at lightweight some of these ranked fighters. It's just it hasn't played out exactly that way because he's not the best wrestler and people can exploit it. And in striking, he tends this fight. I think he kind of gave this fight away. So, he tried the wrestling early, like he had in the past couple fights. It didn't really work out. The leg kicks from Marc were real rough, dude. They were rough. He landed some hard ones. I mean, he landed 8. I was about to say only, but he landed 8 leg kicks this round. They were rough, dude. Hard leg kicks. Johnson was still able to land left hands, making Marc think twice about rushing in. The round came down to how you graded the impact of certain shots. I lean towards Marc. I felt like he did enough damage. If you look at the striking numbers here, it was 23-12. I don't think Johnson landed something so significant that it can outweigh that deficit that he had in the landed department here. And then in the second round, Marc saying nah after Johnson misses. He was laughing at him at one point and dancing around, saying shit after he poked him. Like he poked Johnson, then he started saying shit about him in the eye. He poked him in the eye. Johnson was moving forward in the second round, making Marc react and drawing out the movement. So he was doing a good job of moving forward, using feints to draw out the movement of Diakiese, which allowed him to counter very well. There was a nice combo at the end of the round ending with the right hand for Johnson. He actually got in there and he landed the left hand multiple times, but he ended the round that way as well. Way more damage in this round, 30-11 in favor of Johnson, 19-19 on my scorecard. Johnson went to the body really well in this last round. Marc was just not throwing enough. If he wanted to win, he really needed to increase his output. I mean, the total number of strikes thrown was 79-49 in favor of Johnson. He was landing at a lesser rate anyway than Johnson, so even if he kept up with his output, he still probably would have been outstruck, but he just wasn't throwing enough out there anyway. Marc went for a flying knee, and Johnson landed a two-piece to make him pay for it. It was a great finish for Johnson, the way he did this round. 41-21 total significant strikes landed. God dang it with this camera. Focus. I had a 29-28. What's really funny is at the end of it when they said 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28 in favor of Marc Diakiese, was like raising his hands like, all right, that's me. I definitely got it. And then they say Michael Johnson. He's like, what? Like, come on, man. I guess he felt like he didn't get hit hard by anything, but he got pieced up in those last 2 rounds, and I don't feel like he did anything significant, to be honest with you. So I think you can learn from this. It's just that you gotta fix your strategy, man. All right, Darren Elkins versus Jonathan Pearce. Hey, what are you gonna do? Elkins not getting it done, not having that comeback moment. It was kind of a blowout, to be honest. In the last round, it did get closer. We'll get to that. So Pearce started the fight with 3 front kicks to the face. Pearce landed so much random shit on the feet. He landed a flying front kick, or a flying knee, a front kick, a random right hand, like a crazy right hand. Elkins living up to his nickname, taking all of the damage. 10-9 on my scorecard there. Could have been a 10-8 with the amount of damage that he took in this first round. 30-11 in favor of Pearce as far as significant strikes landed. Elkins was having success when he's in tight, throwing hooks over the top. So every time he would move in, he would have some success, but it just wasn't enough. Pearce with the fence grab to stop a takedown. Really fucking nice. Again, lots of fence grabs on this night. Elkins was staying in there, but he was just taking so much damage. 44-15 and as far as the total strikes go. Elkins was just getting pieced up, man. It did not look good for him. Elkins got cut and he was bleeding everywhere. It was funny. In between rounds, the doctor asked if he was okay, and he's like, yeah. He says, he actually said, fuck yeah. And when he was like, oh, hey, there's a cut, and he's like, yeah, it's a fight, man. So, just very matter of fact, like, hey, yeah, shit, dude, we're in a fight. I'm gonna get cut. It is what it is. When the fight started back up, They didn't start the fight on the ground, which Elkins was supposed to be on his back because that's when they stopped the fight because of the cut. Um, uh, you know, it is what it is. It didn't really affect the outcome of the fight too much, I guess. Although you could argue that Pearce took more damage than he needed to because Elkins got to be back on his feet. And he did land a decent amount of stuff, 31-36 in favor of Pearce. I had it 30-27 for Pearce. One of the judges here, Derek, clearly actually had a 10-8 round in there for Pearce. I could see that. He could really pick one of the first two rounds, just how you do it. All right. Natan Levy versus Genaro Valdez. I think that's how you pronounce that. Genaro Valdez. Sorry. This was fun. They both rocked each other at one point. It was pretty good. In the first round was like a back and forth stand up battle for a while. It you know it was pretty even as far as striking numbers go up until about the 90-second mark, I think it was. Yeah, I wrote it down. Okay, so Valdez was landing some really big shots, and then Levy dropped him with a right hand and then a kick. Levy kicked him in the liver and dropped him down. It was really close. Like I said, the total striking numbers were really close until about 90 seconds left, and then Levy ran away with it. 34-19 in favor of Levy. Way more damage. Not quite a 10-8, definitely a 10-9 though. Valdez landed some really huge shots in the second round, but Levy was just landing so much more. Is what I thought. Levy got the takedown, stayed on top for the rest of the second round. I would say that he didn't do enough with that. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not crazy. I guess I just switched the names around. Because I scored that second round for Valdez. Even though Levy had control time here, he had 2 minutes and 19 seconds. I don't feel like he did enough to overcome this deficit of 21-13 in favor of Valdez as far as the significant strikes go. Something interesting. Chris Lee there gave it 30-27, so that's great. Valdez's foot was swollen up, and it was really, really messed up. During the round, this last round here, Levy's corner was yelling at him to step on it, like kick it, step on it. Levy went for the belly to back suplex, and Valdez grabbed the fence again after he was warned earlier in the fight. And then I was upset. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. If Valdez wins this fight, I'm going to be upset because that should have been a point regardless. In the last round, though, Levy outlanded him 20-9 and had dominated him on the ground at 2 minutes and 21 seconds of control time. Yet again, another guy that was allowed to just grab the fence and do whatever the fuck he wanted. So much of that, and it was, this is how we started the night, guys. These earlier fights, it just set the tone. Like, hey, we're just going to allow fence grabs. All right, Marcelo Rojo versus Francis Marshall. This was Marshall's UFC debut, I believe. Sure was. He was on the Contender Series back in August. This is his first fight in the UFC. Good win for him. It really was. Rojo was landing the right hand early. He landed these hard low kicks pretty much at will. If you look at the striking numbers in this first round, Rojo outlanded Marshall 18-11. He landed 5 of 5 of those leg kicks. Like I said, pretty much at will. And then 12 of 20 to the head. That right hand was landing over and over again. Marshall was taking quite a bit of damage. I did give that for Rojo actually had a fence grab that stopped the takedown twice, and Marshall still got the takedown. Remember what I said about it being the theme of the night 5 seconds ago? Like I said, this has set the tone for the night. Everybody just grab the fence because you're not going to get fucking penalized for it. Marshall ended up in that first round. I thought he could possibly get the round, even though he took some damage early on. He had 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Plus, that fence grab was really blatant, and it pains me to give the other guy the round. He did get outlanded 18-11, like I said, but I felt like Marshall did enough, especially blatant fence grab. Rojo kicked him in the nuts in the second round. Real nice. So now he used up 3 of his 1 free fouls. But like Marshall just landed a right hook in tight and put him right the fuck out. What a debut for Marshall. Total strikes were still in favor of Rojo in the second round, but he did get knocked the fuck out. Maybe don't grab the fence and kick him in the nuts anymore. Good win for Marshall. And let's talk about the first fight on the card here. Yazmin. Oh God. Jauregui versus Istela Nunes. Jauregui. I forgot how they pronounce it. Man, I had it down yesterday, and I knew I should have recorded yesterday. Anyway, Yazmin was really aggressive. She was landing hooks early. Nunes landed a right hand, and Yazmin was off balance, but it did put her down, so it counts as a knockdown. Nunes was retreating pretty much the whole first round, and she was trying to counter. She might have landed better power shots, but I felt like Yazmin was coming for her and doing a lot more damage overall. So 27-24 in favor of Yazmin. I know that Nunes did get the takedown there, or the knockdown there, but I felt like Yazmin was just in her freaking face, man. She did not let up. She just was constantly throwing stuff at her. You know, she threw 86 strikes, and I know she only outstruck her by 3, but as I've said before, accuracy means nothing when it comes to the strikes landed being the same or close. In fact, having less accuracy means you have thrown more offense. Yazmin actually rocked Nunes in the second round here, kept the pressure on her. Yazmin ends up getting Nunes on the ground again, dropping some crazy ground and pound and getting a TKO. What a goddamn beast. This chick is crazy good. She landed 40 of 68 strikes in this round, 40-12 in favor of her. Nunes was very defensive, running backwards, similar to her countryman later on the card. It's it's an effective strategy when you can make it work. It's not the most exciting, but she did make it work, and Yazmin put it on her and made her pay for it. So good on her. I'm glad she got that win. She definitely deserved it. Dude, I'm excited for her, man. She's got a crazy motor. She just wants to go, go, go. And it's fantastic. All right, that is it. I'm sorry that I put this out late, guys. I know that normally I put these out about on the same day or about the same time, but I just didn't get to it. I got kind of busy, so I appreciate y'all for making it this far. If this is the only video you watch this week, I say it every time, you're so weird, but you're my kind of weird. I appreciate you for stopping by. If you are looking for the other videos, the rest of the card, that is, it's in the last video. I'm tired right now. If you like MMA, you like podcasts about MMA, if you like someone breaking down fights and falling asleep while he's trying to understand bad decisions, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. I appreciate y'all. I really do. I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you for stopping by, and I love y'all.